The last round of
horror show.
Downtown.
I thought you spoke Jared.
Oh my God.
It was just the chair tilting back on it.
Oh my aching banana.
That's a creepy chair. It's got spider webs underneath it and
It
everything.
looks like a good sturdy chair.
It's not.
It's a Halloween chair.
It is not.
We even said they don't build them like that anymore.
They don't. There must be a reason.
I know the reason they don't build them like this
It's fucking
anymore.
metal though. How's it like? It's not like wood where there's a piece chipped off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's just a structural
that.
issue.
I think the floor's a little tilted.
Yeah, I think that's right. You're listening to the last Roundup Horror Show, and that was a little. It's just riffing, just having a good old fucking time, huh, guys?
Is that really the intro?
Oh yeah, that's where we're coming from. I'm open. That's good. That's good business.
We're here now.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it is. Another 3 movies this time.
This is a new episode, man.
Yeah, it is.
Like, you got to do the whole. We got to introduce ourselves.
Oh, I'm Frank. Welcome to the last Roundup Horror Show. I listen to plenty of podcasts that do that shit, man.
Yeah,
let's
but
copy them. Let's be the ones that are good.
I'm just saying,
Sometimes
like,
you forget.
Yeah.
If we're going to get more listeners, I'm guessing like we're not going to peak on one. I mean, maybe we will. Maybe people will tune in.
Might just be us 3,
and then it'll drop off forever.
Well, I mean, honestly, I don't know if I'm recording this for our friendship, Jared, to keep it on. You know, we're all gonna pass away someday. I don't want to be sentimental.
Oh, I'm doing it for the fans.
The fans. I'm doing it for the fans. We already got fans.
Friends.
Fans,
What
friends.
the
Friends
fuck
are
you
fans.
talking about?
Frank took it to a dark place.
Listen, we're all gonna die someday.
I'm just saying, it's episode 2. We might still want to think about introducing.
Yeah, we
ourselves.
should.
Okay,
yeah.
welcome.
What?
Welcome. Here, you do it. Somebody else bring it in then. Bring it in. I'm using all this. This is all going in. All of it. Every drop.
Good evening. You're listening to the last Roundup Horror Show. I'm Jared.
Clang, clang, chains.
Jeez.
Anyways, we got 3.
Jason's not going to introduce himself. We've got 2 intros. Frank and me introduce ourselves, and Jason's just like, "Jeez, guys, I'm not part of this."
He didn't introduce himself.
He did on the first
Oh,
intro.
the first one, not the second one.
Hi, I'm Frank. Hi. Why wouldn't I use every ounce of this? This is all good.
Come on.
This is Jason. Say hi, Jason.
Hey.
Hey.
We're here. Let's do it.
All right, episode 2.
Episode 2. I want to talk about a movie that really just made me rethink my life. It was called A Dark Song. And
This is Jared's pick here.
I'm telling you what, I'm going to probably... this movie could have been really good if they did what I wanted them to do.
Another 2016 movie.
Yeah.
If only people could make movies as good as Frank.
No, I could not make this. Any part of it. I couldn't. But what they should have done is a lot simpler than what they did with their big crazy CGI fucking angel, Jared. Let me tell you.
We're jumping right to
Oh
it, huh?
yeah, that's
that's
the only thing that happens, Jared.
We don't know who. We don't know who. We don't know who.
Jason, say Jared.
You didn't have to correct yourself. They can't see who you're looking at.
We don't know who directed this.
Shit. No, well,
It's Liam.
Oh, I don't have notes. I
Gavin.
did not take notes.
It was made in 2016.
It's not rated. It's an hour 40 minutes. Directed by Liam Gavin,
That's going to clip.
who
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm
this
trying to watch it.
up until this point has only done shorts. So that being said, for your debut movie, I mean he nailed 98% of this movie.
Yeah, that's true.
I really think this is a great movie
It's good. I like it.
that
would
had 5 minutes worth of questionable camera angle choices.
Now, if you were going to end this, just what would you want this movie to end like?
I have no problem with anything about the movie. I just shot around the Guardian Angel.
That was bad. They could have even used it. I thought the Guardian Angel was that old lady that was walking around with the.
They could have used anything in the world. That's the thing. They
Yeah.
could have made it anything in the world, and they
I
used that.
Figure.
I-
Would have been fine.
I think it's as easy as her talking
And way
to-
cheaper.
I think it's as easy as her talking to a white light that you see
Yep.
reflecting on her.
It's true.
This, like I said, shot
Well,
around.
I think-
it doesn't. Now it is a big throw when it comes in. It's like,
Have we even said
Oh,
what we're
yeah.
talking about?
A dark song. Yeah.
yeah, we said it.
I said I
I-
wanted to talk about it.
The angel.
Yeah.
We're talking about the angel at the end
This
of the
is the
movie.
very
We
end.
completely jumped to the end of the movie.
It is jarring.
We'll come back around.
It is so jarring. You have to talk about it first.
It's the only thing I had a problem with.
But
It's all I hear people talk about. Anyone that mentions it,
I've
goes
heard a few people
straight to the ending.
I've heard a few people for how slow burn and how dark and psychological
Yeah,
it was. I've heard a few people upset that it's a redemptive end.
Another slow burn.
Yeah, that shouldn't have happened either. It might
liked-
as well have been Daffy Duck though that they stuck in there because it fucking was so jarring.
I
like you
liked the
said.
redemptive ending.
None of that bothered me.
I liked it. I think it was the best to come
Yeah.
to because it was the least expected.
I would have been happy if they would have just had her Groundhog Day it every day of her life. Same thing. She tries to leave in the day, walks out into the country, can't get anywhere, ends up back at the
But
house.
yeah,
and then at the night she gets terrorized by demons. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I like I said, I liked the redemptive ending. I thought it was a good conclusion to it. The only thing about the movie is the effects on the Guardian Angel are so out of place, it's jarring.
Yeah, but the thing that pissed me off was with that dude.
And you know what? The hell scene before it, that's either hell or their basement,
Yeah,
that they know it. I'd have shot around that more too. I thought that was. I appreciate that they went that slow burn and tried to actually give you what you think you would want. Like to go that long. A lot of movies will go that slow burn.
I would
all
have been
the way
happy
through.
not ever seeing any of those creatures though.
I'd have been happy finishing my thought.
I'm sorry, Jerry.
We gotta watch him. He'll interrupt you.
Well, you kind of got to in a podcast scenario.
But like I say, I appreciate normally in a movie that slow burn. It's not
Again, part of this,
uncommon.
the slow burn.
To get an ending that doesn't feel like it was worth because you shoot around. So I appreciate that he tried. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna blow this up with some demons, try to make it look like hell, and then bam, I'm gonna give him a fucking guardian angel. I'm gonna give it to you.
He got southern there, didn't he?
But
Guardian Angel.
but I think the reason a lot of people don't do that is because they're worried about it turning out the way it did in this movie.
But the slow burn part of it again was almost just like the same scenario with Autopsy of Jane Doe. It's a slow burn, but they're giving you a lot of like they take you through every step of that ritual.
I think it works.
Well, doesn't it last like 8 months?
Yeah.
Like it's an extremely long time.
Of any of the slow burn movies we watched,
Like I don't know anything about the occult, but this is definitely. I mean, this is an occult movie.
Dude, this was based on
But I feel like-
actual shit.
I feel like I learned
This
something.
is Aleister Crowley shit. This is a ritual that
Yeah,
was actually.
I think the
something that
slow
was
burn
done.
works well with
Yeah.
this one. I wouldn't have changed the pacing
The,
anyway.
Nope.
I would. This is what it would have been a fucking. I would have gave it a 10.
And that
if
guy-
it would have. I would have given it a 10 if it would have not did at the. They just had her Groundhog Day, like I said at the end, and never showed anything because that's a mental fuck because you don't see anything. You saw the guy smoking, but then he wasn't there. Maybe she hears these voices, but you never see anything. And she still can't leave the house. That's just a mental hell.
This whole movie is about those two people's emotional state.
Yeah, and that's what was
So
great about it.
That's why the slow burn works so well.
But ultimately, I have to judge the movie like I would judge a juggler. If you're doing all kinds of crazy, fucking awesome juggling tricks, and then you just fucking drop them all, it doesn't fucking matter.
They dropped some. Yep. That last.
I mean,
Yeah, like I said, it was jarring. It didn't throw me completely out of the movie. It was just jarring. It was.
it's one of those things
Jarring.
like it's like if someone was telling you how great a steak was going to be for 3 days before you got to eat it, and then it just was a piece of shit.
I
from
actually
fucking
thought
Aldi's.
I thought the hell scene before it was worse done than the angel.
You're probably right.
I would keep the angel for a better drug down to hell or whatever that is in the basement with the demons taken over by the darkness, whatever. I would make that trade-off. I would keep the angel for that being done right, as opposed to keeping that to get rid of the angel.
There was a lot of really effective, creepy
Which
shit.
it's not as jarring, but the angel
music was great too.
The music I had a problem with because it was so much violin.
It's meant to be very stirring.
It's
you can do that in a way like It Follows, where it makes sense.
It's all I don't know. This whole movie's atmosphere and unsettling mental states.
And again, two characters basically. Yeah. One location, not necessarily one room, but one location. So your acting has to be good. If you're going to do that, it has to be good. And it worked for this one.
I give a movie a lot more credit than I've heard other people give it because
I give it a 1, so that's where I'm at.
You gave this movie a 1?
I would have given it a 10 if they would have fucking, like I said, Juggler, man. Yeah, you're a great. America's Got Talent, man. Boom, gone, out. If you drop the balls when you're juggling, you're off of America's Got Talent.
Okay,
so goodbye. If you're gonna fucking slow burn me for how long? An hour and 40 minutes. Good golly, Miss Molly.
Hour 40.
Because there was 30 minutes left, and I'm like, some shit has to happen now, right? And that's when shit did start happening.
It's bad, but
see, I wasn't. I thought the whole slow burn, the whole slow burn all the way through. I give it a 7.
Oh, you know what?
I really want to give it an 8. I'd give it an 8, maybe even a 9.
I'd give it a 6.
The hell scene would have been better, but I didn't get bored of the slow burn.
No.
At all. I thought it was perfect. I think if you even change that, you're not even making the
I have the plot as rated a 7, acting to 7, music's a 7, and atmosphere is 7. And I gave it an overall. So you'd think it would be a 7, wouldn't you?
I really like your rating system. I think it's nice.
But the overall, because of the way it ended, I gave it a 6. Yeah. Frank's being real hardcore.
No, I would have went both ways, man. If they would have ended it
I'm saying,
in any sort of it's like landing a plane, man. If they would have landed that fucking plane,
we're judging it the same way. We're judging it the same way. I went down to a 6. You went all the way down to 1.
But would you have given it a 10 if it was?
No, it wouldn't have been that high. But it probably.
That's why I was split, because I was into it, dude. I was sitting really close to my fucking computer screen, and my headphones were on. I was into it.
I think if the end would have paid off, it could have possibly been a 10. If it would have been done as well as the rest of it. But
they were coming in for that landing, buddy, and then they just fucking.
It is bad. It's bad. It's bad. People should watch this. It's definitely worth watching once.
Maybe
I don't recommend going out.
There's a lot of redeemable qualities.
You're probably not going to watch this movie more than once.
No,
I wouldn't.
And you're definitely going to remember. You'll remember the ending for the rest of your life. So
I wouldn't be surprised if I watched it.
And it's a a good movie up until then. So I think it's definitely worth a watch.
It's just like it's just one of those movies that I do recommend people watch, but I give it a 1.
I don't think you know what words mean,
dude.
Your scale there's something wrong with your scale.
No.
So
that's why you like mine so much.
I base it on what I want it to be.
I understand. I'm asking, okay, you recommend people watch it and give it a 1. What is the rating where you stop recommending?
I would say to make it simpler.
It's never. I recommend watching everything.
Dude, you have to ask yourself this question.
If I've seen it, I recommend it.
Listen, okay. This is the barometer for my whole scale.
Frank's pushing
This is the barometer for my whole
horror show product code thing.
I'll
still fucking recommend it. I don't give a shit.
I watch bad shit all the time.
People's going to have to try to figure out what you can explain to it. You can explain to it.
If this is my scale, if I will recommend a fucking piece of shit, I give a 1 to. If I think
it's better than a 1.
Like if someone told me, listen, dude, this movie is fucking slow as shit, but then there's this fucking angel in it, I would watch it for the angel. I would watch it for the angel. Because I watch shit. I watch shit, man. I will recommend shit.
Yeah, the writing's fine.
I gave Luther the Geek a 10. I gave it a 10. So that's my scale.
It's fine that it's an angel. Right. That's what you're saying. The angel doesn't matter.
It's an angel. It's what it looks
the visual.
like.
Yes, it's the visual.
I've watched movies just for one scene before. I've watched movies that are foreign just for a scene that I saw on YouTube.
We understand that, but when people, it's going to be confusing.
Okay, don't listen to me.
If you're going to recommend watching one,
I recommend it
confusing.
because I think there's movies like Eraserhead where you will watch it one time in your life.
You only watched Eraserhead once?
I can only watch. I don't need to watch it again. Why would I watch it again? I don't need to. Oh no, I'm not even Eraserhead because I would watch Eraserhead.
I think
again.
I've only seen Eraserhead once.
It's like watching.
Watched it a few times.
It's like.
Did you take my VHS? I gave you all my VHS.
Well, no, you still got some up there.
I recommend a dark song like I would recommend watching Begotten. One time. You're only going to watch that one time if you even make it through. If nothing else, skip to that fucking angel part, right? Like,
I like the occult movies too, though.
Yeah,
so.
and again, it takes you through so many steps of this ritual. I thought that was.
I don't
cool.
see movies nail the slow burn.
I'm giving them a 1 because they gave me a 1 at the end.
I got it.
Okay, Jared.
I got it.
Spite.
I was just saying. You can
but watch it anyways.
You can let other people talk about it.
This sums it up right here for me. My last note I have here is enjoyed it. May not revisit.
So, I should have just said that. my
that's
opinion got a little too.
That's my opinion on it.
The end being so jarring, it does do a big shame to the fact that I don't see people nail the slow burn like this one nailed ever.
That's the risk they take.
It done.
You could stop the movie before that part, and it would be a great movie. It's so fucking long. Just cut that last 20 minutes out.
They could have done anything else in the world.
That's your movie. Just edit it. Edit that end off, and then just fade it out.
No one watched that and said maybe lose the gigantic angel that can barely fit in the living room. Maybe just do something different than that.
Yeah, they should have.
Just had a regular dude dressed like an angel.
I'm just saying it is very jarring. It is shockingly jarring, but it's so shockingly jarring. I think you'll lose. It didn't get credit for what it did through the first all of it, but the end. I've never been so entertained and engrossed.
Well,
in such a slow.
It had that effect on Frank.
It was good. It was great until that fucking end. Like I said, cut the last 20 minutes off. Maybe I'll edit it and put out my own cut.
I'm just trying to point out its redeeming qualities.
Yes, it does have a lot. I'll give it that. That's why I recommend a 1. I give it a 1 because it fucks you.
What'd you give it?
I give it a 7.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, let's move on to the news.
And now the last round of Horror Show News.
Well, I've got news for you, buddy. First up, Rob Zombie has announced he's directing a sequel to The Devil's Rejects. This makes me pretty happy. Not a big fan of Rob Zombie, but I do love that this is now going to be a trilogy. With the first entry, House of a Thousand Corpses, and then, of course, Devil's Rejects. I like these movies, so I'm excited to see where this goes. Next, Michael Dougherty, the director of Trick or Treat and Krampus, hopes to make Trick or Treat 2 his next project. And he has just finished filming Godzilla King of the Monsters. So that'll be interesting to see. Love Trick or Treat. Great Halloween anthology movie. So glad. Been waiting several years now to hear that he was making part 2. Pet Sematari's remake will be directed by Starry Eyes directors Dennis Widmeyer and Kevin Koch. And if you haven't seen Starry Eyes, it's a really strange movie, really messed up, but looks great, feels great. It was shot perfect. So ever since the boom of remakes, I always thought Pet Sematary would be a great one to see. So glad that's happening. Scream Factory has announced that they will release The Gate 2 on Blu-ray on February 20th. If you have not seen The Gate, watch it. I'm sure you can find it online. I own it on Blu-ray. It looks great. I suggest everyone gives that a watch. And last, George Romero's son, George Cameron Romero, is making a prequel to Night of the Living Dead. He calls it a love letter to his father's works. So, high hopes for that. Hope that turns out great. That's it for the news.
Did you notice that the news this time wasn't nearly as chatty or as much laughing?
Straight to the point.
Right to the point. I don't think I've ever heard Frank interrupt less.
Yeah.
I felt in control. That's what I can say. I felt like it was. I felt like I controlled it.
Good job, guys.
Hey, you know.
All right, Deathgasm.
This is my pick.
Deathgasm. All spelt in capitals. Lowercase is for pussies.
How'd you guys like this one?
I liked it.
Yeah.
Straight away, the very first thing that I noticed was the visuals of it. It looks great.
Yeah. Jared had told me that before he finished it, he told me that it was what did you say, like a teen romance comedy or something?
Yeah, I watched it in chunks. I watched up to where the teacher starts throwing up blood, and then finished the rest of it like a day or two later. So that first chunk I thought was very like teen comedy. It was heavy on that, I thought, and light on blood, but it more because
That's
when you don't
because they were doing the
when you don't get the ending right away. All I had was like 2 days to sit on that bit of it.
they were doing those intercut drawing things like they did on Superbad and shit like that. A lot of dick drawings and a lot of dicks in general.
Well, and the second half of the movie is.
But also, there's Power Rangers in this, dude. There's 3 people from Power Rangers in this.
The second half of the movie is where all the great stuff is. I don't think the first stuff is. I don't think it did any detriment. It's just if you only watch that. I walked away being like, I don't know about this one. This might not be what I thought it was going to be. And a lot of times, metal movies that focus heavily on metal, it feels a little forced.
Yes,
Yeah,
I think
Someone.
I just watched another one. I think it was Devil's Candy. It was very. It was metal, and I agree. They all feel forced.
Yes, someone, I don't know if it was the people making it, but someone was into this. Like when he pulls the autopsy record out.
Yeah.
Like someone was around being like, no.
But why so much Trivium? Trivium was on it. Every fucking thing. It was everywhere.
But yeah, the main characters are like, you look at it, they make them into like black metal, the blackest of black metal kind of dudes.
They did a parody of that, what's that band, that black metal band. Can't even think of it. But they did a parody of a black metal video.
But but then, like you said, when you start tossing in like Trivium and you're moving into a generic, that, it's just never done. Great, but it didn't. For what the movie is, it doesn't fucking matter.
No, because everything's over the top.
None of this, all these little things. None of it matters for
the
what
main
the movie
dude.
is.
What's his name? Brody, is that his name? And the lead girl are both from Power Rangers, one of the series, and the chick from the record store that does the psychic readings, she's from Power Rangers also.
It's Power Ranger movie.
But they say you can sync this movie up to Iron Maiden's Live After Death, and it like perfectly aligns like a Pink Floyd.
I may try that
thing. Yeah. Basically, these guys. What happens is this kid, his mom gets put in jail for trying to suck off Santa Claus. Is that what happened?
Yeah, she was high on meth.
And he has to move in with his really religious uncle and dickhead cousin. And of course, they lump him in with a slobby dude and a fucking nerd that plays D&D.
None of that matters. A metal band finds a hymn that raises a devil.
Yeah.
They play it not knowing what it was. The town turns into demons, and a lot of people
A
get
lot of
killed
awesome shit happens.
in crazy, ridiculous ways.
I love it when he kills his cousin, just to fucking kill him.
No, because like when he came in, he was all like, his eyes. You seen that, right?
Oh my god! Yeah, the gore was great. I loved every bit of it.
The visuals are great. The director Jason Lee, I think it's Jason Lee Howden. Again, this is his first full length movie. But previously, he's known for his visual effects. He worked on the Hobbit movies, the Wolverine, Prometheus. Like visuals is his thing, and from the get go, like as soon as the movie starts, I love the visuals. I love the cut scenes to where they have like they're standing on the mountain,
that's awesome.
like a metal cover, like it.
Yeah,
Visually, this movie is great.
It pretty much hits on everything it needs
Practical
to be.
practical effects, great
To be good at what it's supposed to be. Like, it's funny as shit.
Yeah,
the little stuff I was telling Frank about the first half is just because I hadn't got to the part that you watched the movie for, and all I had was the parts that you don't care about, and so that second half of the movie. Honestly, I'm not going to take away from dude's film because I think it's really good, but you can just watch the second half of the movie.
That's true.
It's one of those.
he was just warming up his first.
And you'll
first
miss
half of the movie.
You'll miss some good stuff, a few good scenes in the first part, but it's not quite as. That's my only issue with it is normally those kind of movies are full go from the beginning. They waited till halfway through. Doesn't hurt the movie, but in this kind of movie, I don't want to wait. Just, it's called Deathgasm.
Yeah,
Let's
I didn't.
just get to it.
Going off the trailer. I didn't expect to like this movie as much as I did. Like I didn't think I was going to be into it that much at all. But
yeah, I figured I would. There hasn't been much of those New Zealand over the top.
Yeah, I love that New Zealand accent. I don't know why, but I just fucking do.
The old Peter Jackson stuff with Dead Alive and Bad Taste. One that I almost picked for this time for my old one, but I decided something else instead. Black Sheep is another one.
I just got that.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
Maybe I will pick it instead of Body Mall. It's 2006, but that's over a decade old.
Yeah, I just.
We shouldn't have restrictions.
I just ordered from the UK real cheap. It's only like
I got it
like
on DVD
$5.
too, Frank. I might pick that one instead. But anyways, like Black Sheep and Undead, I believe that one was another New Zealand one. Like they're and of those, Deathgasm's probably my least favorite.
Undead's the one with the aliens in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good.
But I still rate it pretty high. It being my least favorite is. That doesn't mean it's very low. Like I love those New Zealand over the top, just crazy, insane, nonstop death and ridiculousness. I like that in a movie.
It was a really, really good movie.
Would you rate it, Jason?
Let's see. I gave it a 7. I gave the plot a 5. I didn't. The writing to the movie. There's.
I gave the plot not relevant.
It's just the middle of the road. Like it wasn't bad, it wasn't good. It is what it is.
Lost some
I liked the acting in it. I thought the characters were great. I gave it a 7. There really wasn't a whole lot of atmosphere there, so I think 7's a good score.
I think in the end, the reason this one is it isn't as high as Undead or Black Sheep or Brain Damage is because the overall story isn't as ridiculous as like Dead Alive. A rat monkey bites a dude's mom and he keeps the zombies in his basement and they spread. That's ridiculous. The Black Sheep, a dude's humping a sheep.
That's a good story.
Genetic.
That's an 8 in my book. So,
but a dude's
rat monkey
humping a sheep to make a genetically superior sheep, and they turn into were sheep.
Yeah, were sheep.
Like that's that is an undead aliens taking over and raising.
Oh, and that dude has
zombies.
that awesome shotgun.
I mean, that's the storyline from Plan 9 from Outer Space. I mean, and this one is a couple kids form a metal band, and it's not as over the top.
But he does use the power of a tasty fucking guitar solo to bring his buddy out of the devil.
You know, it's like I said, it's just not as over the top. And in those movies, I like them. It's just way over the top.
This wasn't over the top enough for you?
Storyline.
Because I thought this was... I mean, I said that earlier.
Everything's
over the top. I got it right here. Wrote it down.
He has a spin move with 2 chainsaws, and he has corpse paint.
It's over the top.
We were talking storyline. The storyline wasn't as over the top as what I like in those.
Right. And his wife also helped.
I give
write
the
this.
movie a 7, but I give the second half of the movie a 9. The second half of the movie is everything that it should be.
Your guys' scales kill me.
I went with an 8.
Wow.
This is right in my wheelhouse, but I thought that the devil at the end, that could have been done a little bit fucking cool, because everything else was so awesome, and that was like...
I feel this was a little Tenacious D. Too.
Yeah, I felt that. The cutaways especially. That looked like some shit out of their albums.
The devil at the end looked like a really bad version of Dave Grohl in Tenacious D.
Yeah, and they said that this was based on Evil Dead, sort of. So why would they could have done the beginning different without? Don't involve the school at all. Get the school out of there, and it would be a lot better, because that made it seem like you were watching Look, She's Hot Now, or whatever that fucking movie is.
They took time. They took time to introduce characters to you.
Yeah.
And put them in situations to make you think about who the characters are. It works against this movie a little bit, because I generally, like, even in The Void, I was like, I don't care who they are. But in this movie especially, I don't care who they are. I don't care who they are. I don't care who they're killing. Just do it.
Yeah, because the beginning, like, half hour, it's like Sandy or whatever the fucking names are.
The part where what really got me, and it was one of the parts that came close to my end of the first chunk that I watched. Like, when you get into pass this guy the note, I didn't pass the note, I showed up instead, I'm going to start making out with my best friends. Like, all of that, you could have had more people getting killed instead of that.
Yeah.
It tries to make you care.
Yeah, it tried to actually make a more normal, stronger story.
Yeah, that kid gets bullied, gets pushed down, gets...
Yeah. It just...
They added real life stuff into a not real life movie.
Yeah.
Unnecessary. Anyways, let's go into our favorite segment, Jared's Realm.
It's been 2 weeks and I still haven't thought up a name.
What did you think of?
I haven't thought of anything.
Name it now, man.
You had 2 weeks to name it.
I've been very...
Welcome to Castle J Skull.
It's been a very... I've been lazy.
Well, anyways, this is Jared's...
And 2 weeks later, we're all wearing the same clothes.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Don't reveal what's behind the curtain, Jared.
That's not that weird for me.
That's
the way it's been for the last 8 years.
You think it's been 2 weeks. That's only because you hadn't seen me in a while. Yes, so we're going to do an interview with Doug Rinaldi, who is going to tell you why you should read his books much better than I did in last episode.
I love reading books, it's fun. I often read them with my mum. I like reading to explore. There's no better way, I'm sure. I love reading.
We're lucky enough today to have Doug Rinaldi on the show with us, author of A Different Kind of Slumber, Purgatory Behind These Eyes, Forever Cried the Abyss, and multiple others. He was my first introduction to independent horror. That's why I'm doing him first on this, or was interviewing him first on this show. Found him on the interwebs. We were talking on the Mississippi Bones page, and he sent me stuff. And he's fantastic. So I'm here to give him time to tell everyone why they should read his stuff. So, Doug, thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, just I think one of the first questions I'm always going to ask people, which this is my first one, so who knows how these are going to go, but just horror in general seems the first question people are always asked, and you've probably answered a million times before. But anyways, what is it about horror that made you say that? I want to write that.
Honestly, no one really asked me. I ask myself all the time, and I still haven't found an answer. It's basically, I mean, I've always gravitated towards more darker stuff, kind of like I never grew out of my brooding teen phase. So, I mean, I always haven't been into horror. They used to scare the shit out of me. Like my first experience with a horror movie was this one scene in Beastmaster where the crazy, veiny, wingy guys turn the people into pea soup.
Yeah, Beastmaster reference, nice.
Yeah, and that scarred me so bad that I would cry myself to sleep and pray to God and Jesus not to give me nightmares. And then somehow I ended up watching someone's head get ripped off in A Beast Within. And again, set the cycle where I just, please, Jesus God guy up there, please don't let me have nightmares because I don't want to die in my sleep. And then Poltergeist ruined my life for a while with the face ripping scene. Spoiler alert, somebody loses their face.
Yeah.
In Poltergeist. But then I guess, I don't know what happened. One day in between 8th grade and freshman year, I got tired of being scared of horror movies. I started reading Dean Koontz, a little bit of Stephen King. Then I said, Ma, bring me to the video store. I want to rent some movies for my summer vacation. And I got every single Friday the 13th to date. And I just watched them over and over for a whole week and pretty much desensitized myself from horror movies based on what Mr. Voorhees was doing to people. And realized I kind of had a little thing for the darker side of things, and my artwork started getting a little darker. Wasn't really writing much then. I didn't really start writing more towards college years. It was more of a really lame poetry.
Trying to get the girls.
Yeah, not with this stuff. It's the kind of stuff my mom would try to put me away for if she ever read it. And then a lot of those old crappy poems turned into random lyrics for what became Bane of Existence lyrics. And eventually I have all these wacky, weird, darker ideas, and I just started putting them on paper. And it's easier for me to write that stuff. I don't really think I have a melodramatic bone in my body as far as writing stuff. So I'm a lot of juvenile, sarcastic humor in my horror,
which is always not.
Yeah, so I really don't see myself writing literary fiction. I don't have much to say about normal things, I guess. I don't try to bring politics or too much religion or current events into my stuff. I stick with what I know. I stick with random pop culture references if I need to. I just try to make it as fun but as dark as I can. People ask me like what kind of horror. I mean, I don't like to pigeonhole myself in horror because like you've read a bunch of my stuff, so you know stuff like Annual Seed isn't really horror, even though there's a big baddie in it, and it gets kind of dark and religious at the end. if I had to kind of label it, I'm telling people, I don't know, the Twilight Zone meets Tales from the Crypt meets Broken Lizard.
Yeah, and while you're on that right there, that's actually one of the reasons I wanted to do this and talk to independent horror writers, because where I grew up, I didn't even have internet till out of high school. Finding books, new authors, it was never an easy thing for me. So I grew up reading Stephen King, Clive Barker's big names and whatever, and I stopped reading horror for good 10 years until meeting you. Was kind of when I started getting back into it, and everything you were just talking about was kind of the big point of it. It seems like a lot of independent horror writers kind of fall into that. Like, it's horror, but you're not going to have a few of them that I've read have more of a specific tone, but most of them are just, it's whatever. And if you read Purgatory, Behind These Eyes, you run a gamut between very Lovecrafty feeling stuff with like Maelstrom, and all the way to Annual Seed, which is about a demon gardener and his neighbor who's jealous of him. So I mean, you kind of and everywhere in between, and that's one of the things I've kind of that when I found your books was really refreshing, and I hadn't read horror in years, and made me fall in love with reading it again, and a lot of the other independent horror writers. But was just you're kind of, there's no specific goal, nothing takes itself too seriously, and it's not worrying about pigeonholing in any certain, I gotta be this, I gotta do this. You'll just do whatever, which I think really lets imagination run, which is what I love about horror.
I just get a stupid idea in my head. Let me see how far I can bring this. Like, what's the story? Cruciform. That was one of my first stories I ever finished. Maelstrom was the first thing I ever fully finished and got published. But when I look at Cruciform, that's one of the first things I ever finished on my own. And I sat on that for a while. But the funny thing is, it's one of those stories where a bunch of us in college were just drunk and passing around a pad. And like, you start a paragraph, I'll do a paragraph, keep passing around, keep the story going. And I'm getting into it. Oh yeah, this is awesome with this, and this is going on. And then I hand it to my roommate, and I'm reading it, what he wrote, and apparently he was tired of it, and Pat Sajak was writing an octopus. And that's how the story ended. And I like to leave it up to the reader if that might have been a better ending to that story, but you have to read it to find out. But yeah, I mean, I find myself now having a little more of a bent towards a certain subgenre, I guess. A lot of my stuff has revenge kind of motives going on.
Yeah.
Like if you take With Great Vehemence.
Yeah, I was going to mention that book, but I can never say that word right. So I was just going to wait till you said it.
Another, and the hits just keep on coming. And then I got another one coming out eventually called Endgame, and it's just, I don't know what it is about people getting their comeuppance and getting what they deserve. Even if they're the good guy, I mean, not everybody. It's not always the bad guys that get it in my stuff. But I seem to have this penchant towards revenge and vengeance, as well as, and then on the flip side, I mean, I have a lot of creature feature stuff. Some of it falls into more Tales from the Crypt side, and some of it falls more in the Clive Barker / Lovecraft side. Like I said, if I just get an idea and I feel like running with it, I just see where it can go. If you look at my computer and the file I have for in progress, you see a lot of them don't go too far. I think I have just as many stories started as I have finished. But that's the case with most writers. Sometimes you take them apart and use them in other places that they would fit better. Sometimes they just don't go anywhere, and they just end up being trunk babies, unfinished little in progress eggs that don't go anywhere. But I always keep them. You never know when you're going to get to them. Some of them were really good ideas to start with, and I just don't want to let go of my little trunk babiys.
Yeah, I know how you have a few. You've been kind enough to let me read most of your stuff, which I appreciate. But is it Igor? Is that how you say it?
Egregore.
Egregore.
Yeah.
That's one I've been waiting for to, and I think recently you said that you may end up using that for a larger piece. But there's one I've been waiting for to come out of the trunk for a while.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's sitting in another folder right now, is possibly being absorbed into the quasi-pseudo sequel to the novelette, Different Kind of Slumber, called, oh my god, what's it called? Cathedral of Barren Pines.
Which, after hearing about that, I was really excited about that. I've told quite a few people to read A Different Kind of Slumber, which actually felt different. Like a lot of your stuff you were saying, it kind of falls into a revenge or vengeance style, even if it's the good guy or whatever, but killing, or more of a creature feature, which personally the creature features, like Cerabites is still one of my favorite. I think that's an Incident in Central Village I loved. Like that's, you a lot of those, you let loose, like the imagination lets loose in it, it gets wild. So, and that's kind of my thing. I'm a creature feature guy anyways. But A Different Kind of Slumber it feels like it falls in the middle of that. And that story is one that I tell people read this first, because it's not a perfect example of all your work, but it feels like a really good blending of all of it.
Yeah, I think I put in just the right amount of different things in there without it becoming too bloated with different tropes and different cliches. It's one I'm pretty much proud of. It's one of my longer pieces. I mean, aside from the novel that I just finished, Different Kind of Slumber is probably my longest piece to date that's been published.
I think I told you when I first read it, without ripping it off or being like it much at all, it made me think of The Exorcist 3.
Oh, thank you.
Like feel wise, something about it. There's not really many parallels to it, but just the overall vibe when I read it reminded me of when I first watched it. The feeling of Exorcist 3. It's very dark and very out there, but has a very like a cop-centric procedural storyline that keeps it
grounded.
You're grounded, but out in the ether as well at the same time. So I really love that one. That one's so anyone listening that's thinking, what do I read first? Different Kind of Slumber, and maybe look forward to the sequel, hopefully.
Yeah, that's on the agenda. I keep thinking about it. I'm like, I gotta get back to that. I mean, I made just generic cover art for it just to keep myself interested in it like over a year ago, and I'm like, I kind of gotta get back to it. I miss it. I miss the character, Bobby Montgomery, who is the returning character in this cousin-like sequel. It's not really a direct sequel. It's just it shares a character, and there's a lot of callbacks to the previous book, but it's an all-new storyline. It has nothing to do plot-wise with A Different Kind of Slumber.
Gotcha. But these interviews are really quick, so we'll probably wrap it up. But before we go, what do you have coming out other than plans to work on a related story, A Different Kind of Slumber? I know you have a novel you're shopping around.
Yeah, I have a novel I'm shopping around called The Maw of Night. Kind of think Wrong Turn movie season, franchise meets Sci-Fi's Ghost Hunters.
Yeah,
Kind of wacky, kind of. I don't want to give too much away. It's a throwback to 80s slashers meets modern technology with ghost hunting. It was a fun story to write. Hoping there's people out there that feel the same, that I'm shopping it around to, but we'll see. I'm shooting for spring 2018 for my next collection of short stories. I don't know. I can't remember the names of my own stuff.
Fear of
freestanding objects.
I know these things.
Yeah. Yeah, Fear of Freestanding Objects. That's the next collection. I have a short story due out in Grinning Skull Press, Cranial Leakage 3 called Endgame. Another revenge tale.
That one's a really good one.
Yeah, that one was a fun one to write. That idea stemmed way back when I was using composition pads to write things down in like the 1990s. And it just morphed into something bigger. And I didn't even know the ending to that story until I said, hey, let's do something wacky.
Yeah, and the ending really tossed me for a loop on that one. I mean, it was great, but I did not see it coming.
Yeah. And I'm working on a collaboration that's still kind of not out there in the public, but with another weird fiction, horror fiction author local to the New England area. We're shooting for a novella length. It's out there. I've had so much fun writing this and collaborating with this. My first collaboration with another author, and we're on the same page from the get-go, and I couldn't have asked for more. And it's going so smooth that I just can't wait for people to read it.
Well, I'm looking forward to it too, because I don't think I've really got to see much of any of that one, which is nice. It's good to have surprises.
Yeah, you need something to look forward to.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for being on the show, Doug. We appreciate it. You can tell everybody where they can find you and buy your books.
Yep, I'm on Amazon.com. Just look up Doug Rinaldi. I think I'm the only one on there. Then you can also go to Doug Rinaldi. I don't know. I have so many things going on. Doug Rinaldi writer.wordpress.com. That has links to all my stuff, my publishing history, sign up for a newsletter, all my social media presence, where I am, where you can find me, and a lot of stuff about me, and links to all the books that I have available. So that's Doug Rinaldi writer, one word, .wordpress.com.
And there you go. Go find him. I personally recommend A Different Kind of Slumber and Forever Cried the Abyss, which is a fantastic little book of 3 short little stories. Sarah Bites, one of my favorites. You can get those on Amazon right now. $1 for Forever Cried the Abyss?
Right? Yeah, digital for the Kindle.
$1 for the Kindle. You can't beat it. So go buy it and read it. And thank you for being on the show, Doug.
Thanks for having me, buddy. I appreciate it.
All right, Frank, we're going back to you. Bye, Doug.
That was great, Doug. Thanks for that.
That was a great interview with Doug Rinaldi. Go buy his books on Amazon.
Did you guys? It's been 2 weeks. Did you read any of the stories yet?
Oh yeah, man. Dude, it take me longer than that to get the story.
Parent-teacher conferences going on, trick or treat.
How'd you guys spend Halloween?
Got some barbecue going on. The movies.
Is it Thanksgiving yet?
We're coming up on Thanksgiving. Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving.
It's like 2 weeks away. What day is it?
Yeah,
It's like a month away.
I'll tell you
month.
Today is
You think we're still on last episode?
no, it's November. It's
I thought you were being serious.
Dude,
Like, dude, you're an idiot. Like,
dude, it's November 14th. Where are you at? It's November 14th.
sorry.
Yeah. Wow. Happy November 14th.
Yeah, it's coming
All
up.
right. Anyways,
Coming up.
come back anytime, Doug. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for coming, Doug. Yeah. We got one movie left, right?
He just ignored you. He thinks you're dicks. He don't even want to talk to you now.
That's why I wouldn't look at him.
Well, he didn't say much. I mean, to us. He didn't address us.
That's because you ignored him the whole time.
I guess so.
What movie are we talking about?
Luther the Geek.
How was that for a segue?
Oh, that was great.
This is another
Fucked
one.
it up, though.
There's two of my picks in this one. The last one was a hit. How's this one fare, fellas?
Boy.
Throughout America in the early 20th century, circus carnivals crisscrossed the continental United States. Carny barkers hawked and baited a curious public to come see the sideshow freaks. But of all the bizarre acts, the strangest was the Geek. The Geek was a man so down on his luck he'd do anything for a drink. But to earn that shot of cheap whiskey, he had to bite the head off a live chicken and drink its blood.
Let's get some stuff out of the way, right?
Let's get it off the table.
Thank God this was only 80 minutes long.
Perfect length for this.
A 90s movie though.
I'm going to come back to that when
A
you say
90s
perfect
movie.
length. I'm going to come back to that.
It could have been shorter.
Director Carl J. Albright. I don't know. He's the writer and director. Studio. Frank, you kept saying this was a Troma movie.
Troma,
It's
did you
released
know
on
they
Troma.
released it.
They
but
released
after
it
it was made.
before. Another company before. I believe it was Quest Entertainment who released this on VHS. So I don't know. I don't know if Troma had. If they, I'm guessing they put out VHS too, but
Yeah, it was after. I think this movie had.
but Vinegar Syndrome just released this on Blu-ray 2016. That's
You don't
another
need
great
it-
company.
You don't need it in Blu-ray though.
But no, no, you don't. And
I think you could have
almost-
left off the Blu-ray part and just finished the sentence with.
I
You don't need it.
almost bought this as a blind buy just because
Yeah.
we were doing it.
You would have been mad about that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been happy about it.
I don't know if it was because when Frank said Luther the Geek, I said, "Oh dear God."
Well,
Okay, well, what's the worst part about it for you guys?
Mainly the movie.
the clucking.
That's bad, yeah.
I actually didn't have a problem with that. My thing with the movie, it's not a bad idea. I normally like this kind of stuff. It's about 25 minutes of a decent movie. Like nothing happens.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
much happens.
The reason I think I like it so much is because, like, first of all, the only problem I have with it is does he think he's a chicken, or does he think that he eats chickens? Because he seems to eat everything about chickens. He wants to drink their blood. He wants to eat the eggs, but he also do chickens do that?
Yeah, it's funny to me because of the slow burn movies, this is the slowest.
But the way
Not intentionally though.
the way I look
It's
at it
just
There's no content. There's nothing there.
there is nothing. Like the beginning, I get the beginning where he sees the geek. And then they decide to let him out of jail. Like that
What
first.
did he go to jail for?
They said it in the thing. He killed a
bit
couple teenagers,
he
bit their
bit
necks
their
out.
necks.
All right,
But
I missed that.
But I know like most people would probably say they lost it when he pointlessly goes. The first thing he does when he gets out is I'm going to go steal some sunglasses
And a coat.
Eats a coat, eat some raw chicken eggs, get tossed out of a store, try to hand an old lady an egg. When she drops it, I kill her,
Yeah.
and then run from. I'm fine with all of that. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But after that, nothing happens.
Yeah,
I mean, the whole movie. You could cut what it was 80 minutes long. You could cut
a lot of it out.
all but 25 minutes of it out.
Yeah.
I mean, you could 55 minutes of him leaving.
The clucking could have been reduced.
55 minutes of him leaving the house and coming back in, because that's all that happens in the movie. Like he rides in the back of a car to a lady's house, and then hides in the barn for no reason, and she walks around the house doing nothing, and then he runs in the house and ties her to a bed, and her daughter and boyfriend come home, and then
we know what happens there, don't we, guys?
and then he steals a motorcycle. That's what happens.
Yeah,
he steals a motorcycle, only to have the guy chase him,
catch him.
Not really catch him. Really, even he could have got away. It's like he's like, I'm going to take this motorcycle to get this guy to chase me 15 miles out into a field, so I can knock him out. Walk back to the house.
Doesn't he drive back?
No, on what? The motorcycle's on the ground. He walks back to the house, gets the car, drives back to the motorcycle, picks up the guy, drives back to the house. That's like 40 minutes of the fucking movie.
Do you know what? I think the reason I think that it all lines up for me because I think this guy's like, that's what a planned serial killer would not do that, but a guy that thinks he's a fucking chicken would totally not it would make, he'd be running around like a chicken with his head cut off.
That's fine.
Yeah,
but it's not a good movie.
Yeah, I know, but I love it. I love
I
love how it makes me feel to watch it. I don't know if it's because it seems like something I would rent on VHS.
I really didn't mind everything besides the chicken clucking. Like it felt like almost like a made-for-TV movie.
He should have squealed like Leatherface or something, like something weird like that, or not talk at all.
The conversation that the mom has with Luther in Chicken Cluck. That doesn't need to be in there.
Did you know that she studied?
Yeah, they had a conversation about.
She had a gun.
Not about it, but
the whole time.
Yes.
He walks in, shoot him. The majority of this movie, if you ever think of watching this movie, skip to the kill scenes.
Those are good.
Like, watch someone die, then just go buy a soda and come back and skip to the next kill scene. You've lived the movie. Someone got in a car and drove away pointlessly and then came back. Like, that's all the movie is.
Well, it didn't score good with me.
No, it's very low. This wasn't my first rodeo with it too, so
that may be another thing why I went in expecting this to be awful from your comments. So I went in expecting it to be horrible and found some things that wasn't so bad.
Yeah, like I said, about 20 minutes of the movie.
It feels like something I would have rented from Video Connection back when I was 14.
I did.
Yeah.
Like this, it's not my first run-in with the movie. And so I'm a little salty that I had to watch it again. Because it's when me and John used to rent videos all the time. That was our threat. Like if someone was pissing someone off, if you don't quit it, next time we go to the video store, I'm picking Luther the Geek. And you got to watch it again.
Yep. See, I wish I had this, but I only want it on VHS, and I'm sure it probably costs a lot of money.
It's just, and I think it might have been the dude's first movie. It's not like
I think it's the only movie.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think he done anything else.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's not like things don't make sense other than maybe things don't make sense. But you know what? There's not such terrible camera work that you can't tell what's going on.
Right.
The story follows all the way through. There's just someone took a 20-minute short at most and made an 80-minute movie.
I think I remember seeing somewhere that the director thinks this movie didn't do as good as it should have. Because
There's
it wasn't
a documentary about this one.
It wasn't promoted right.
I don't know what it's called.
Is that what?
I think that's wrong.
That what that's about?
I think it's wrong. If he would have killed 10 more people in it,
no, it's completely wrong. I'm saying I think that's why. That's what I've seen him saying.
I know that.
No, that's not. That's not.
If he'd have killed 10 more people in it, like
something more.
6. If there would have been more movie in the movie, it'd be a fine old cheesy movie.
I think I read that they wrote the role for that guy to do it. So why isn't it like how
If they would have kept up with him running around the town giving people eggs, then they drop him and he pointlessly kills them for no sense. That would have been entertaining.
That sounds hilarious.
Yeah, that's
remake coming soon.
That's a cool 5 minutes. You could have kept doing it and having him clucking. It's been entertaining.
This is gonna piss you off. What the taglines for this were? The most riveting splatter film since the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And another one was the most disturbing white trash killer since Leatherface.
I have a tagline: a movie with a foul bite.
Yeah, that one's fine. The other ones are offensive. This is not close to. You know what though? I still gave it a 10. You
gave this a 10.
I do. I love it. That's my. It's not gonna make sense, man.
Your scales, your scale. People cannot go.
I
by
wanted this to be
can't
what
go
it
by
was.
your rating.
They
now have to be. They're now limited.
How should I rate
they're
it?
They're limited to 2 ratings now that
I'm
they can
the wild
trust.
card. No. This was exactly what I wanted it to be.
What? Give me another 10. Give me another 10.
Dead Alive. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1.
Oh God.
Those
are 10.
These are things I love.
Those are 10. This one's not.
Okay, that's my skill. I loved it. I love fucking
You
Terror
loved-
Tunes.
you
Terror
loved
Tunes
this
is a 10.
movie. All right.
Frank likes things people don't like because they don't like them. He likes to say.
Yeah. So
I
if you're
listed
if you're a
several
person
movies that you guys love
that doesn't like anything anyone else likes, then you could listen to Frank's ratings.
I have no judgment on technicalities or whatever. I'm basing it on how much I love the thing and how much the thing is what I want it to
He
be.
loved it. I gave it a 3.
Yeah, I give it a 3.
Yeah.
There you go.
Just listen to these guys. I'm just here to talk and have fun.
Don't watch it. Don't watch it. If you do watch it, I mean, there's funny stuff in it.
I wouldn't say don't watch it.
The chicken clucking I thought is funny. The ending I thought is funny. Yeah, she has a gun, but watching her cluck back, all that's funny. But it's just like, okay, here's a funny 3-minute scene, and now
she even tried to express sadness through chicken clucking.
I wonder if maybe there was a movie there, but because the acting's horrible.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
awful.
like it just
the one girl goes on to the one girl that plays Beth, the daughter. She ends up doing
the one that was under the bed.
Yeah,
she goes on
I
and
thought
does.
she was horrible.
She does True Blood, Prison Break, Heroes, CSI.
She may have become a
Wow.
good actress, but the acting in this movie is terrible.
Yeah, it's
and
bad.
I've wondered, because that's the other thing. Like, not only is it like, okay, 3 minutes of funny, then we're going to do 20 minutes of nothing, and then 3 minutes of funny, and then 20 minutes of nothing. Not only is it that, but there's not even any talking.
Well,
I wonder,
maybe we should look at how bad the writing was, and maybe looked at the acting a different way. Like they told this guy to cluck, and I mean, how much better can you cluck like a chicken?
Actually, I give
It's
Luther.
it's not his fault. He has to go.
I think
around.
the strongest point of the movie is the actor's portrayal of Luther. I thought that was actually decent. It's not bad, but I'm wondering if there's no dialogue in this movie, because when you finally hear someone talk, you're like, oh, I bet they had lines and they were shooting them, and the director just kept saying, no, fuck it. Just don't say anything. We'll shoot around it.
The mom and the daughter could not act for.
And then by the time they got to the end of the movie, all of a sudden the director realized he had cut out all the dialogue, and they just shot around everything. And so it was just like, okay, we got to fill it up. Have him drive off on a motorcycle, and then come back and get a car and drive back out there, and then drive back again.
Yeah, that daughter was. She was also the female lead on this. Do you remember that Superboy TV show that was on? No, she was in every episode of that. So she had a lot of work for her Luther the Geek debut.
Yeah, it's just if you ever decide to watch it, just skip to where he's about to kill somebody, and cut about 60 minutes of the movie off.
If this Blu-ray gets down to like the
$5.
You really-
$5 to $7 range, I'll pick it up.
You really wouldn't tell people to not watch it?
No, I wouldn't tell people not to not watch it.
Man.
I would. I in fact, I want to see it again just to see the clean version. You know, a new transfer, because I don't know if I streamed this or if I watched it on YouTube, but it looks horrible.
It's on YouTube for free.
Like it was
Trovo.
awful. So I would like to see.
I would get that if there was something in it to see. Like, what do you need to see clear?
I didn't think it was an awful movie, and for
The effects
$5
weren't
to
bad.
$7, I'd pick it up.
For the kill scenes.
Yeah, what, all four of them?
2? How many other?
I mean, let's be honest. There's really only one or two.
Well, again,
bloody
it
things.
felt like a made-for-TV movie to me.
The kills,
but with nudity.
There's one or two good kill scenes in it, but most of it he just bites people's neck, which
Yeah,
is a head in front of a neck.
It's not much there.
And the kill scenes are actually pretty boring too.
Like
Can we talk about the nudity scene though? Because
that paid off.
That was top notch, if I have to say so myself. She
There
can't
are-
act for shit, but Jesus Christ,
If you're a fan of breasts, they're
they're there and they're on the movie.
I mean, they're
Just skip to that scene. You can really just skip to that scene.
And the truth comes out. Frank is not rating the movie.
No, I'm really.
I want to
He's
see the
rating.
I want to see the boobs in HD. I want to see them cleaned up a little bit.
He is rating a pair of breasts.
No, they were 10s.
Oh, that's where that's where the 10s.
No, because what else did I give a high score to? Autopsy of
This is
Jane
a
Doe.
3.
Maybe it is all about boobs, guys. No, The Void was good. But,
This is a 3.
yeah. So, but you would still recommend it, just like I would A Dark Song.
No, I wouldn't recommend it, but I wouldn't tell someone not to watch it.
I would. I'm telling anyone who is listening.
That would be a 1 for me.
If you are out there,
Or 2.
if you are out there listening, do not watch this movie. I think its redeemable qualities, if you're going to pick any, are the actors. The actor who played Luther, I thought did a good job of what he's supposed to do. It's just he doesn't do anything in the movie, so it's just way too much of it.
I like the way it looks. I think a lot too. That has a lot to do with it.
The acting is there's nothing redeemable there other than him. There's when she rolls the boyfriend over. That's actually the only good kill scene. And
I
it's
thought
not
the
even
How
so
did he
much
kill the
neck
boyfriend?
bite.
When did he kill the boyfriend?
at some point.
But did they show it?
It
Or
was
did they
a-
show his dead
Here, hold
body?
on. I got the whole thing here.
Yeah. Yeah, but the kill scene sucks. It's just the dead body.
Yeah, I think it's
Like
just
it didn't show him kill the girl either.
Yeah, it did because the girl
They
dies.
they were together.
Yeah, he didn't kill her.
No, they did.
Like,
Yeah,
He
Here we
messed her
go.
up. The girl.
she fall on.
I got it here. Here we go.
But did it show how it killed him?
I got it here, man.
All right, let's hear it.
Beth goes back in the house only to be beaten by Luther immediately with his fists and kicks and knees.
Frank's making this sound way more entertaining.
Luther
than
knocks
what
her
it
out
is.
and begins slow dancing around with her lifeless body before tossing her on the floor next to Rob, whose heart is outside of his body at this point. I don't even think it shows him killing him.
It doesn't show him. It shows him like the kill scene coming, but it doesn't.
He takes Rob at
The
knife
only
point.
good thing in it is when they roll him over and his heart's
Yeah.
out.
So they did. Yeah. So no, I thought I seen his body. I thought I missed the killing.
If you could not have watched the movie and not missed anything.
Yeah, that's kind of true.
But yeah, and I rated a 3, but a 3 for me is a tell people not to watch it. I'll give people credit on things they do. I think this was the first dude's first movie, and he put
so you 1, 2, or 3 is going to be a not watch. For you?
it's a not watch.
Yeah.
I give him credit. The director put a movie together. I couldn't do it.
That's it. That's all he did.
So I'll
too.
give him credit for it. The actor, for the role he's playing, he does a believable job of doing it.
Yeah.
None of that stuff needed done or should have happened, but they did it. And they did those two things, shot a movie from beginning to end, and the actor being believable in it. They did those two things acceptable, so that's why it gets a 3.
There we go. There you have it. So what's up on the next episode? Episode 3. What's the picks?
Episode 3 and 4.
Let's just give him 3.
Well, we don't know. We know our picks, but not.
Well, we each know one.
Do you know both yours?
I know both mine.
I know both mine. I posted
We
mine.
can put them both though. What you got, Jared? What's yours? Both of them.
Oh shit. The one is Beyond the Black Rainbow.
Okay. Where can I watch that at?
Shudder.
Oh Jesus! Here we go. I got to spend money now, Jared. I got to subscribe to a network.
I'm sure
What-
it's on.
what a-
It's out there.
I have so many things.
What did I
Give a
tell you when I
crack fire
first came in and said, "Hey, I picked my 2 movies"?
What'd you say?
Exactly. I said I have Shudder. You can watch it on my account. Don't worry.
Oh, dude, so many things are said. So many things were said. So
a
many
lot
things.
happened.
There was a lamp that broke. The lights went off.
Beyond the Black Rainbow, I was gonna pick. I get to pick a older than 10 years one this time,
Yeah.
and I was gonna pick Body Melt, but I think I'm gonna pick Black Sheep.
Okay.
Jason said he's getting it coming in.
No, I got it.
He's already got it. Jason's
Got it.
already got it. I got it on DVD.
I don't have it.
I'm
On
just
DVD.
trying to think what year that
DVD.
came out.
2006.
That's what I was thinking.
You can probably find. Most people can probably find that for fairly cheap. I think I've seen it.
But yeah, so I'm going with Beyond the
And
Black
it's not.
Rainbow.
It's
and
not
Black Sheep.
released on Blu-ray in the U.S. So if you're looking for a Blu-ray, import it from Amazon UK. That's what I did. It's like $4.
Yeah, get a
Isn't
region
that a
free Blu-ray player.
Fangoria movie? Isn't that what? Wasn't that Fangoria?
I'm not sure.
What's your picks, Jason?
The Loved Ones and Society.
Oh, I've heard of that one. Is that an older movie?
That's an older one.
Okay.
Brian, what's his name? Brian Hughes.
Hussein.
Brian, I think he
I would
did.
watch his movie.
Brian Usnia.
Oh, they did Ticks and Dagon does stuff with Stuart Gordon.
I think he did Honey, I Shrunk the Kids too.
Yeah, it was Stuart Gordon
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, Brian Yuzuna.
Yeah, that's it.
Very nice.
I met Stuart Gordon.
Look at this.
Tossing
Look
that
who
out.
walked in the room again.
It's just one up right after the other.
First we can't read. Now he's meeting celebrities. Jesus Christ.
You have his movie? Wow, I met him.
I
have Shudder.
I have a signed Reanimator poster.
Wow.
Right.
Okay. I got a couple picks for next time. Can I talk about those?
What you got?
Nothing good.
Basket Case 2. I've seen Basket Case a lot of times. So, and I can't remember when the last time I saw 2 was, but it looks buck wild, and I don't.
Buck wild.
The thing that's crazy is you go on YouTube, you look it up, there it is. You can rent it for $1.99. Then down 2 videos, there it is for free, 100%. Don't tell YouTube that, but it's there.
They're gonna take it off, and Frank's
Yeah,
gonna
it's
change
in really
his
good
pick.
HD too, so don't take it down, YouTube. Let me watch it first. My other one is The Babysitter. Is that what that movie's called on Netflix?
Babysitter, yep.
They're always showing it to me like it's the thing I need to watch, so I suppose I
We
should watch
talked.
it.
I discussed that in the news last episode.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's coming out on DVD.
Man, how
right?
do you remember this stuff? 2 weeks later.
Yeah, it was coming out on DVD or Blu-ray. What was it?
It was coming out on Netflix.
Oh, okay. It's out.
It's a
It's
Netflix
on.
original.
It's on right now.
It's on
I
right
saw
now.
it today. Not the movie, but just that it was there.
Have you watched it yet?
Yes, I have. I think I watched it the day it came out.
He's watched everything.
He's watching them like left and right. I'm like very strict on. I gotta watch this movie before fucking this day. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for listening, guys. Anything else? You guys got last words?
We're not good at ending shows yet.
No. Bandcamp.com, zombietakeoverstudios.bandcamp.com. To be honest,
All
with
of
you.
it.
Yeah.
/
That's
LRHS product code.
at LRHS Pod on Facebook. That's also the code. And go ahead and click through. If we keep saying it, eventually it'll be a thing that happens. Anyways, next time.
No, you stupid motherfuckers. This is a ZTO TV podcast.